I've seen things. A few things before. Left the sun and moon behind. Galaxies waiting to be found. Planets rich in resources. Battles to be fought.
Did they resurrect Campo Lane from the dead for this trailer? This sounds exactly like the guy who voiced the Bentusi in Homeworld, who's also in Battlestar Galactica as like the hybrid Cylon or something like that. He had an amazing voice. The guy in this trailer, whoever it is, sounds just like that.
Treasures unknown. A universe you wouldn't believe.
All right. I have a serious question for you. I've been trying to figure out how to juggle two opposing things. One is my serious lack of free time to focus on gaming because I'm focusing on other things that are rather time sensitive at the moment. And the other is the desire that I have to continue to provide videos of gaming on YouTube. So I've been thinking about my workflow and how I've been doing things this year with my X4 series, right? And typically what I will do is I will play X4 for 5 or 6 hours, record a whole bunch of footage, and then I will take about an hour of footage and I will cut, like make about 1,000 cuts that will slice it into pieces either to skip or to speed up, because X4's content is of such a nature that it makes it very difficult to watch unedited footage of somebody playing X4 on YouTube, because a lot of the stuff you do in X4 isn't really interesting, but there's a lot of interesting stuff that's in X4, just not consecutive, right? Where you can make a video just of that. So what I found is that for every hour of gameplay that I would actually play in X4, I would spend about another hour and a half working on that footage, because I have to play it, right? I have to actually look at it while I'm editing and figure out, I have to play it through and see how, do I keep this? Do I throw it? Do I speed it up? Things like that. So I'm actually going through the entire footage that I've made. So it's an hour just for that. And another, probably add on at least a half hour to another hour. We'll just say 2 hours then. So I spend an hour playing and I spend 2 hours editing, and I get 20 minutes or 25 minutes or so of final footage, about 20, 25 minutes, as you've been seeing, right? And then I'll have to record an intro and an outro where I have to set up the camera specifically for that. And usually what that involves is me sitting down, getting hooked up with the camera and the headphones and the microphone and just kind of watching through what I remind myself what the video was, and then make a comment about the start and make the comment about the end. And then I put it all in the video editor and stitch it together. And then I render it, and then I compress it, and then I upload it to YouTube, give it a scheduled date, and go to the next one. So all in all, for every episode that is about 25 minutes of YouTube's time or your time, I've spent about 3.5 hours of my time making that. And that's a lot more than I expected, because that's an hour of game time. It's an hour of gaming, but then, it's 2.5 hours of not gaming to make a 25-minute video. Here is an idea. What do you think of me putting X4 on the shelf for a little bit while I'm busy in life and play a game that doesn't require a lot of strategy or a lot of planning or working through the economy or, just trying to, I don't know, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, I actually have the game. So I have played it a little bit. I've probably put, I'm guessing about 25 hours, something like that. Well, okay, probably a bit more than that. I've tried it like a couple of times, and I've made it mostly through the tutorial. And when I say tutorial, I mean everything that gets to the point where you have, let's see, you go to the space anomaly, and then you get a like a base manager. I don't remember the name of the term that they use in the game, but you get an overseer. Overseer, that's what it is. I haven't actually got to the part where I get an overseer, even though I've tried twice to do that. And I just, we just never got to that point. Now, No Man's Sky is a different kind of game than X4 by a large margin. And the main thing about No Man's Sky that's different is that it's not really objective based. I mean, there's side missions, but they're very short. They're short little side missions. So you can sit down and you can do a mission in one sitting and you're done. And another thing that's really true about No Man's Sky, and I mean, this is something I remember really thinking is kind of neat about it, is that it's really relaxing. So it doesn't stress you out. It doesn't make you have to solve anything, solve problems, puzzles, work things through, which, don't get me wrong, I like all that stuff, but I am working on that part of my brain that likes that kind of thing is working on other projects that aren't gaming at the moment. And so if I'm going to do gaming single player, I want it to be something that's chill. I want it to be something that I can just go in and just kind of not have a huge objective, but just see where the game takes me. And No Man's Sky is really a good game for that, because if you just want to see where the game takes you and you don't really have any expectations, it's a good game. It's a good game for that. You can sit around and you can grab your mining tool and you can mine away. You can mine resources, or you can run around scanning things, discovering things, charting out the planets you find, or trying to make a base or whatever. And it doesn't have to be, it's not for anything. It's just, you're doing it just to enjoy it. And I haven't actually played a game just to enjoy it in a long time. And I don't even know if, I suspect that YouTube audiences like that kind of thing, because there's a lot of content like that on YouTube. When I started X4 for YouTube, it was for the purpose of helping a new X4 player get into the game. That's why I made that initial video. It's probably a video that you saw as your first exposure to me. According to YouTube, most of my viewers have come from that one video. It's basically starting X4 from scratch. And that video is so out of date now. But the whole idea behind me making that video, and then subsequently the entire 90 episode series of X4 VRO, has been to help you, the viewer, to get started in X4, because X4 is a very difficult game. It has a huge learning curve. And for most people, it's like, what do I do? How do I play this game? So I thought it'd be really helpful to help people see how that's done. Now that I'm quite a ways into it, I don't feel like I'm teaching anybody anything anymore, which is kind of like the purpose of the series. And while I really enjoy it, I don't really know how valuable that series is for you all. And so I'm just kind of like, my motivation to continue to make videos for X4 has gone way down because I don't really know, should I do that? I don't know. But yeah, it's like it's changed. My initial goal of getting people started in X4 seems to have been successful and seems to be complete. And from then on, I'm just playing it for fun, right? I was just playing it for the challenge, which is, let's face it, very enjoyable. I really like the game. It's something that the next time I pick it up, I want to pick it up where I left off. I don't want to start over from scratch because guess what? There's a ton more to do in the game. There's a whole bunch more to do. I can take the assets that I've got so far and kick that off and just push to the next thing. But that requires a lot of time. It requires so much time just to get a little bit forward. And I'm thinking, here's the idea now. If I play No Man's Sky, I could record it. I could sit down and record myself playing it for an hour, and I could post the whole video unedited on YouTube, and you have an hour footage. And it cost me an hour time. Well, or I could split it in half and make 2 episodes, half hour each. Cost me an hour time. That's a lot better deal time-wise than X4 at the moment, because I need something chill and you guys need content. And I'm thinking, well, why don't we just do that? But I don't know how interested my audience is in No Man's Sky. Now, I know that my audience is not all that interested in Sons of the Forest, because I tried that, and Terraria, because I tried that. Now, I'm going to keep posting that, because I do my multiplayer gaming with my friends. And, we spend 3.5 hours on a Saturday playing together, and I might as well just post the video, right? And if a handful of people want to watch that, they can. But, obviously not everybody is interested, judging by the view numbers. But No Man's Sky, who knows? Maybe you guys would like that. Maybe you'd all like to see what No Man's Sky is like, particularly because I play it in VR. So I've never made a YouTube video where the camera's on me playing VR. I might try it just to see what happens. Might try a half-hour game and just see what happens, and post the video up and see what you guys think. But I wanted to ask right now, before I do any of that, are you guys interested in No Man's Sky? And in light of Starfield, which I'm still not really all that interested in, I am thinking, well, No Man's Sky is probably a really chill game that I can really get into just for relaxation. And, No Man's Sky's content looks like it might be more interesting anyways to me. So immersive wise, it's immersion for me. I'm not into role playing. And that's one of the reasons I haven't actually played No Man's Sky that much either, because No Man's Sky is a game that really appeals to role players, where you want to pretend that you're a, space pirate or whatever you want to do. You're into the role. And I've just never really gotten into that myself. But if you want to role play, this is a pretty good game for that as well. And if you like to role play, Starfield is an excellent game to play. And especially if you're a fan of Bethesda games, which I'm, typically not. It's just not my thing. But I have a friend who is quite into it, and he says it's fantastic, but it's only going to appeal to people who like things like, Skyrim and stuff like that. It's like, I'm thinking, all right, yeah, it's Fallout in space. So No Man's Sky is its own thing. It really is its own thing. And I'm thinking maybe I could play some of that and it wouldn't eat up my free time, which is the most important thing for me right now. I need something that I can, put an hour in, get an hour out, instead of putting 3.5 hours in, getting 25 minutes out, right? That kind of thing. So anyways, share your thoughts with me, and maybe this will be something we can try. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you then.